Hey y'all, and welcome to the video. This is the second video on the YouTube channel, and for this video it'll be the end of the growing season update on the garden. We'll show the plants and also show the new plants that we have since the last video was done back in beginning of August. So this is one of them here, Livistona chinensis, and it's a big clump of 6 of them. That's kind of just how they came. But this is what I wanted, was kind of a bushy looking plant. So it's fine for now, and they're such slow growers that it's gonna stay like this for quite a while, but looking very good. It's been in the ground, 2 to 3 months. You know, right after I put out my first video, I think is when we got this. We have a bald cypress here, looking pretty good. Also staying green. We're into November now, and this is usually one of the first plants to change color, and so far no signs of it on this one. We have a healthy looking needle palm right here. And here's needle palm number 2. This one's got a lot of offshoots on it. I think there's 4 of them down there in addition to the main trunk. Super slow growers these are, but seems happy. And another bald cypress back here. This one's getting pretty big. And then also getting big is this Washingtonia robusta, which has, I would say, almost doubled in size this year in terms of height, width, whatever, the frond size. You can see how small the fronds were when this was planted. This is probably one of the last fronds that are still on the tree. I put it in the ground, now look how big they got. Huge. This one probably even bigger and long, but still very tall and skinny. Definitely heavy on the robusta genetics, if not a pure robusta here. And then the last needle palm, not looking that great. It's got a lot of dead stuff. I mean, it's been like that. I don't know if it got sunburned or what happened when it was put in the ground, but it doesn't get too much sun in this spot. That said, the newest frond is mostly green. It's got a spear coming up. It's got an offshoot down there, just one. But growing at a snail's pace, that's all. We'll come over here to one of our Butias. This is one of the small ones, but this is my nicest looking small one. It's got some real tall, long fronds on it now. It's taken off quite well. And then we have a Sago cycad here. Looks just the same as it did back in August, but it's alive and well. I have not seen it do a flush yet, but I'm sure we'll get one eventually. And I am planning to put another one of these in this neighborhood here, maybe make it a double. But that may be a project for the spring. And we have our Sylvester date palm here, looking very nice. Grew some real long fronds this summer, and overcame some transplant shock when it was put in the ground. I'd say, I think it was April that this one went in the ground, so doing well. And then the bananas. So these are the dwarf bananas, and they are looking very good. They got real big. They started taking off in August, and they really enjoyed having this mulch in. I put this mulch down some point in August, and they've been very happy, growing some big leaves. I split off some pups and planted them in the middle, and they are growing now. And you can see plenty of pups here. This one's almost as big as the mother plant. And down on the end here, we've got the sword pups on this, 2 of them. So those are supposedly the best ones. Here is my more shade growing spot. And we have our silver saw palmetto down here, also growing super slow and very small, but hopefully next year we'll get some good growth out of it. And then the Majesty palm, which I don't expect to survive this winter, but that said, it's been pretty content where it's at for this past summer. Who knows? We might get through the winter and have another year with it next year. Got more bald cypress. These are getting real tall. This one's at least 7 feet high. And might as well go look at the other one. Also getting up there. Some Spanish moss in it. The base of it was like the size of my finger when it was this thing was planted. And now look at it, it's about 3 to 3.5 inch diameter. These ones are 4 years old. Now we have the Canary Island date palm. It's been a slow grower, but looks healthy. It's got a bunch of new fronds up top here, real small though. It's definitely a slower grower than the Sylvesters, but healthy plant. And then a couple new additions here, the Sable Minors. People were asking me if I had something against Sables, and I just don't have them. Finally got a couple of Sable Minors in here, which I've planted as a double. And we have so many of these growing in the woods as well. And I'd love to have some Sable palmettos, but I think it's going to be a financial investment to get, you don't have much choices with the Sables, palmettos. You're going to get an 8, 9, 10 foot plant. So it's on the list. But here is the Bismarckia. Should my zone push plants such as this Bismarckia die, I might replace it with a Sable palmetto. But it's doing quite well. We have another new frond. I think this one was new in August. And we got this one here, came out in October. And at one point, this thing had 4 spears going at the same time. You can see it's got 3 right now. One here, and then you can kind of see it. There's one kind of stuck to the other right now. But at one point, there was 4 of them like that. So it's doing pretty good, but it needs to go through its first winter yet. So not sure if it'll be looking this nice next year, but we'll see. Back here we have another Butea, and this one is one of my older ones. It's 2 years old. I think it's put out 1, 2, 3 fronds this year. It's got a new spear coming up. Here we are with another Sylvester date palm. And this one's been very happy where it's at. And it's been more inclined to grow taller than wider, unlike the other one. But loving the silver color on it and how aggressively it's putting out fronds. I mean, this is a new frond, and it's got 2 fronds here in that spear. These are all relatively new, so this one's really growing at a good pace. Then we'll come over here and look at the 2 smaller Bismarckias. These ones do have 1 winter under their belt. They had a tough time last year. They totally defoliated, and this is how they look. Well, that was January, so November, 10 months later. Not too bad. You can see it pushed out a damaged frond to start with, but still partially alive. And then we got this baby frond with, very little silver in it. And then we finally started getting some healthy looking fronds. I'd say it's recovered pretty well. We just don't want it to go through such a freeze again this winter. And let's take a look at the second one. This one actually looks a little bit better. It's got one extra frond, and that first frond it pushed out after the freeze looks, well, it's all tore up. It does look better as far as not as much brown in it. But the new growth looking very good. I've got one more silver saw palmetto back here. This one actually has some clumping action going on. It's my nicest one, but they're still all so small. Here's another saw palmetto right here. And then we have a little Washingtonia. Still a baby. And I did throw another dwarf banana pup over here just to try and fill this area in. That's the plan, at least. And now we have a row of our second year Washingtonias, the 4 of them here. They're all looking pretty good, growing pretty well. I expect them to take a big step forward next year. Now that they've been in the ground a couple years, they should be established. This one is kind of weird. It's super compact. The fronds are just real short. And this one here, real furry. So, but they're all growing. And this one here's a nice tall one. Getting pretty big. And then coming on the backside here, we have blue Java bananas. These are, I don't know, they're struggling a little bit. It's been so dry here, super dry. Only rained once in September, only rained twice in October. So we've been very dry. And now that it's been getting in the 50s and even the 40s at night, these have not been the happiest. Out of all of our bananas, these have been affected the most by the changing seasons. And we did split some pups. One here, this pup originally died off. That's the original right here. But it's surviving from the roots, so, and growing. And then let's look at the agaves. These are new. We got 4 agaves. No, sorry, 3. 3 agaves. And I've just put them between the Washingtonias. So this is like my Mexican area. Mexican fan palm and my agaves. All looking pretty decent. And then in the back, I think these are new. So this is an unknown banana. I think it's a large Cavendish. Reminds me of my dwarfs, just bigger. And these are growing very well here. And they're still growing, despite the changing seasons right now. But my plan is to let this dead foliage just hang down and insulate them a little bit. And we'll cut down the trunks in the spring. And hopefully we have, if we can manage to find some live tissue in the middle, we might be able to get fruit next year. So we'll see. We got a pup coming up here. I mulched all these in with just dead wood and kind of made this mulch myself. This is just to get us through this winter. And we got another one here, the big ones. Love the size of the leaves on this. And then this is Grand Nain right here. This one's actually still growing. It's doing better, surprisingly, than the blue Javas, even though supposedly slightly less hardy. But so far this fall, it is pushing out new growth right now. And then back here, I put a bald cypress in, and it's looking pretty bald because it got totally defoliated from sunburn, and it started growing back again. And then that was about a month ago, and now it's not too happy. And so I think it's going to give up for the year, but it's good to know it's still alive. So here we got this other area. We've got another Washingtonia right here. We've got a new addition back here. This is Dioun Edgeley. It's a cycad. And I'm fired up about this. Really slow grower, but I love the plant. And I think it will be hardy in my zone. Real furry down here. Got a baby Washingtonia right here. And another Washingtonia. There's a cypress right here. This is like swamp down in here. That's all these palms are up on this big mound. It's about a foot higher than where I'm standing right now. So down in the swamp, there could be 3 or 4 inches of water just sitting down here after a heavy rain. So I put a cypress in that spot. And then big Washingtonia. This is like that other one, really taking off, getting huge. And see how the fronds were when it was first put in the ground. Now they're real big, and plenty of them. It's got tons of fronds on it. And the trunk is getting kind of fat too. Really splitting these bases open. Then we have a Butea right here. This one looking nice. One of my bigger ones, but was just planted this year. And back here we got some Blue Java bananas. I did split one pup off, and it's hanging in there right here. Put one new leaf out on the pup. And that's been it. And then we do have one more Butea back here. I think possibly I'm gonna take down all this grass, but like I said, it's swamp territory down in there. This is still up on that mound. Got another Butea here in the woods. This has been a real good spot for it. It gets tons of sun right here in the afternoon. It's a little bit overgrown with weeds, but it's doing pretty well. And right here in the driveway, we've got another Butea. This one might just be the biggest out of all of them. It's pretty tall. It's almost 5 foot tall, I would say. And maybe a little stretched out because it doesn't get a whole lot of sun here. You know, maybe only a couple hours of direct sun each day in the late afternoon. It's mostly filtered sun here. But still looking pretty good. It's 2 years old. And then down here we got another silver saw palmetto. And then right here we've got our other smaller Butea out by the road. Getting a lot of sun at this time of day, but it has not nearly grown as much as the other little one we saw early in the video. Took a little walk back in the woods. Just wanted to show y'all some wild sable miners, which I've got all over the property. Hey, there's another one right there. Hey, there's another one right there. Oh, there's another one right there. They're all over the place. I thought, you know, maybe I got 20 of them. I think it's more like 60. I mean, here's another one. They're camping out everywhere back in the woods. But happy to see them here. Just don't really want to transplant them. I think we'll leave them stay. Last but not least, we got our porch plants, the tropicals. This is the foxtail palm, and it's opened one new spear. It's got another one that's real big. Looks like it could open soon. It's growing, and it's pretty happy up here. Nowhere close to needing to bring these inside yet. They might make it to the end of November, beginning of December, before we get into the 30s and start thinking about bringing them in, at least for the nights. This is the bottle palm. It has also put out this frond and this frond since August, and it's looking pretty good. This is definitely the most cold sensitive. Like, this is 0 tolerance for frost. And we have another foxtail. This is a new frond. It kind of opened a little early, but that's all right. It's growing, not doing too bad here. So this is the bird's eye view. From up here, everything looks kind of small, but in the future, may be a lot more impressive.